Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. I am your host, Drew. Take my hand and let's walk this journey together.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year 2022. We are ready for a whole year of fun and interesting topics of conversation. The Meaningful Hearts podcast is back and better than ever. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great holiday. Everybody's safe and healthy. And we're going to go back at it again. And today's topic is, do we lack the ability to become better? Is it possible that some of us are destined for failure? Is that even possible? Well, survey says, yes. And it's not because you can't change who you are or where you're going. It's just that you probably never will. Now, is this in every facet of your life? No, but in certain areas, right? Some people are going to lose their teeth because they don't brush their teeth. They don't have good hygiene. They don't practice it. So teeth gone. Some people will have health issues, really bad ones, poor eating habits, lack of exercise. It's going to happen. People that don't save money and are poor with their finances. Well, you know where that's going to lead you, to the poorhouse, or you're always going to be catching up on your bills, or you're always going to have issues and you're never going to be able to retire. So some things are just so obvious that yes, you are destined for failure unless you change your habits or you change certain things, you change your behavior. Now, I believe that the universe controls our behavior on a macro scale, right? On a larger scale, the universe controls our behavior. And what we do on a smaller scale, on a micro, we connect with it. And together, once we're on the right path, we get drawn in specific directions based on how we behave. You want bad stuff, universe will kind of pull you towards the bad things because you're asking for it. And if you're wanting the good things and you're doing the right things in life, I believe the universe will pull you in those directions, right? The universe will pull you in those directions. Well, that's how I feel anyways. And sometimes we are drawn to stay where we are just because of our mindset, right? We're just, I'm not going to do anything about my life. But then there's other moments where we're just inspired. It's like, boom, now I'm inspired. Well, it's an internal conflict that we face. Staying put versus pushing to become more. Now, I have a really good example of how that kind of works and how some of us stay put or fail and some of us move forward. Now, a really good example is, and I like to talk about this in learning something new, right? The stages of growth in learning something new, right? The introduction of something new, you learn something new for the first time. We're all at the beginning phases. We find out something that we like, something we're interested in, right? That's something new. We try it, but we hit a wall with the progress, right? Now, we hit the wall with the progress. Some of us quit right there, right? Now, the turning point, if you continue to push past that wall, is you might see a little more success, right? You might prove something to yourself that you are able to push a little harder than most people would, right? You're aware of the difficulties, but based on proving success, you keep forging ahead because you're just reinforcing that you can do this. Not that you can never not do it, but most people, when they hit a real good resistance wall, they're like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't know if this is something I want. I don't know if this is something I enjoy. You know what? I quit. But like I said, being aware of the difficulties, but based on some of the success you had in the past, and if you push past that wall, you might be inclined to forge ahead because you met resistance once, right? Now, the continued success, but in very small spurts, graduates you to a higher level than most people will see. I call that the pro level, right? So we'll recap. You start something new, you hit the wall, you say, screw it, or maybe I'll try and keep going. Now, this is a very small percentage of people that do this and continue. And there's even smaller percentage of people that continue after they hit that second wall, right? So it's like a process of elimination. So when I talk about destination of failure is very high, and depending on different levels of where we're at in our lives, we will experience failure on our levels. So in this case, we get to the point where we continue on, just say we're that super extraordinary person, we continue on, and we get to see small spurts in success, small spurts of growth, and we graduate to that pro level, right? So at this point, we're really far ahead of the game. We're at that level where we've proven it over and over and over to ourselves. We have something here. We're good at it. We understand what it's like to feel difficulty and be pushed back upon, but we still understand that just like anything else, it requires you to keep pushing forward. It's keep trying, keep forging ahead. There's always a way. There's always a way, right? Great, you hit pro level. Now there's another level, right? This level is the elite level of success. Mastery, right? You've even pushed further ahead. You became obsessed with it. It became something that you're just so well knowledged in. It ended up changing your whole life. So you went from a novice, a beginner. You went from somebody that was dabbling a little bit, a hobby, whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it became something that's a pivotal point in your life. People know you for this. People know you for this thing. Maybe it's woodworking. I don't know. You went from, buying little pieces of wood and whittling with them to having a whole shop. Years later, you're just fully submerged in this. Your friends, family, your neighbors, they know you for this guy that makes really cool wood stuff, and you just learned all these techniques, right? You push past all the hurdles, the learning curves, all the things that might deter you. You're at a different level now. You're doing really high level stuff, right? And maybe you have a master class. You're teaching this. It became part of you, right? This is that level. That's that mastery level where it just becomes part of your life. It's something you do. You might make money with it. It's a big business for you, right? So you see all those stages right there of growth in that. Now, that was your choice to do that. But a lot of people falter along the way. They falter, they fail because they follow in that same process. As soon as they meet a wall of resistance, they quit. That's why when I say, some people are destined for failure, it's because their actions never change. The activity they do, right? The activity, which is, doesn't mean it's productive, but if it's a thing that they want to try, and they want to, they see themselves at a certain level doing it, but then when they hit that first wall, they're like, I'll never make it, and they quit, right? Well, they're going to do that with anything they try. Anything. Unless they're just a poor judge of what their actual interests are and they're just trying everything just to try stuff. But if you really apply a specific method of learning and a specific level of understanding that there are going to be difficulties with whatever you're doing, even if it's something that you have a good knack for and you're just a natural at it off the bat, you're just, boom, you're right on top of it. There are going to be points where you're just struggling hard. Struggling very, very hard with it. It's going to take some getting used to. You can't just zap your brain. Your brain just learns something and you just do it right from the start like a mess. Like what would be the fun in that anyways? What would be the fun in that? You pick up a guitar. You don't just start jamming out like, John Mayer or Jimi Hendrix. It doesn't work that way. If anybody could do that, I mean, I guess it would be cool, but there would be no levels to mastery there. There would be no levels to beginner, whatever it is. There would be no levels to that. It'd be like, oh yeah, you could do this. Anybody could do this. But it's a specific skill that you learn and acquire over time. And it requires that you forge ahead and that you believe in yourself and that you allow yourself to push when it's the hardest, when it is at its utmost difficult, that you still find a way to show up and do it. Still find a way. Still find a way no matter what. It's very difficult. Now, if you have this in you or you can train yourself to be this way and understand that it's going to be tough and you still push and forge ahead, you will make it up the ladder to that mastery level. You will. It's all you have to do, right? So simple. Just push ahead. Keep pushing ahead and try, and you will make it there. But it's a small percentage of those people that will. So when I say destined for failure, well, you know what I mean now, right? Now, most of us We bounce between stages 1 and 2, right? That's where most people, they try something, it falls off. All those New Year's resolutions people, that would be them. Stages 1 and 2. Introduction of something new, New Year's resolution, trying new thing, but hitting wall with progress. That's probably within the first few weeks of them trying to implement their eating habits or not smoking cigarettes or something that they go really hard at, or habits that they have, but they have not planned or practiced enough or actually set up a level of success. They're just going to crumble. It's going to be their wall of the people around them that influence them too is another example of why. That's a whole nother thing, right? You're the sum of who you spend most of your time with, right? Well, it is true. Your influence is around you. If you're around a bunch of gym buffs and people that eat good, chances are you're going to feel guilty if you're eating a cheeseburger in front of them. You're going to probably want to eat a salad, or you want to eat something cleaner because they're doing it. It also makes you want to be a part of that group of people. But you also don't want to be shamed for it, but you are being influenced by them. Whether you like it or not, it's definitely going to make you feel a certain type of way. So yes, we teeter between 1 and 2. Most people do. And the reason being, it's because of lack of direction and understanding of what we want. We don't know what we want, or we don't have an actual plan for it, right? So I always say you have to plan. Then 2, is commitment is not a covenant that we make with ourselves. It's not. Commitment is a covenant. It's a promise. It's a very, very, very strong thing that you want to do. You want to take this shit seriously. You have to do that. And another thing is outside influences that affect our decisions to stick with a plan or quit. Right? Our influences, there they are. Yeah, I'm reading this off of a chart, just so you know. I wanted to formalize this a little bit because I wanted to feel like I'm teaching a class today. But yes, outside influences affect us. They do. They affect us so much. They do. They affect us so much in a good and bad way. So, hey, you want to have a better eating habit? You want to get yourself in better shape? Not only going to the gym or having a good workout regimen will help, but find people in your office or friends or family, people that are engaged in health and fitness that want to be that have been doing it for a while, and spend a half an hour to an hour with them. They're going to influence you, and you're going to feel better because you're going to be more inclined to do it, and they'll hold you more accountable. Have some gym buddies, right? Be around people that are supportive, they're going to kind of help you and guide you. You don't have to do this alone either. Nobody's asking you to go on this suicide mission. Nobody's going to ask you to go on a suicide mission over this. Nobody is. You can do this with friends and family, whoever. Maybe acquaintances. Maybe you'll meet somebody at the gym that just happens to be super cool. Maybe you've been in the situation that you were in. Very important. And the other thing I think that is important to understand is human behavior is partially influenced by the environment, but the environment can only do so much. You can get pushed and pulled towards elements that you're around in the environment. Some people get pulled into an environment, but they resist and they stay on a good path. That's a smaller percentage of people. And then some people become part of an environment like a fixture and they just stay there. They become part of it. They become part of the problem, right? So you have to really, really be mindful of who you're around. The environments you put yourself in, not just people, but just places. There's energies and things around you that could ultimately affect how you behave too. I believe in all this stuff. And the more you run towards positivity and growth, well, the universe is like, boom, let me zap some of that towards you and come towards me. I'm going to bring you towards more of that positivity. But if you bark up the tree of failure and negativity, well, guess what? The universe has got a place for you to go there too, and it'll pull you in that direction. You are ultimately in control of where you end up in life. It's nobody else's fault but yourself. Where you start is not your fault, but where you end up ultimately is. And I believe in every one of you guys out there listening, and people who aren't listening yet that will be listening one day. I love you all, and thank you for listening to the first episode of 2022. Have a sweet and beautiful night. I love you all.